Hello, hello, hello. I am Zaakirah Muhammad. I am the brand strategist. I am the woman behind the brand, seeing life through a different lens, which is based off of me being a childhood eye cancer survivor at being a childhood eye cancer survivor since sorry, I'm trying not to mute technology in the background. Um, Yes, so I am Zakir. I am a brand strategist, an author, a TEDx speaker, and a childhood eye cancer survivor. I have survived retinoblastoma, which is a rare childhood eye cancer. And today I'm talking about my experience attending Essence Festival 2024. If you are a person of color, you have seen that on the social media feeds and know that it was happening. And I was blessed to be there after 12 years of wishing and wanting to be there. And I was finally in the room. And it was so amazing to be in the room. And I'll share what it was like. I'll share some tips. From the branding and marketing perspective. I'll also be sharing tips from the accessibility perspective. I'm recording this in the month of July, which is accessibility or disability pride month. So just to reintroduce myself again, so I'm a childhood eye cancer survivor. So that means I see in one eye and I wear hearing aids. So I actually have a hearing loss as a result of the radiation treatment. So that was the hardest part about navigating Essence Fest. But let me rewind a little bit further. I actually I I believe in vision boards and intention setting and manifesting. And so I have had Essence Fest on my vision board, essentially really since 2016. And so I was able to check it off once because Essence Festival for about 1 year is supposed to be a 5-year partnership, but we ran into the pandemic. But Essence Festival for 1 year did it in Durban, South Africa. So I was able to go to that one and I was able to see how they were able to immerse into culture. But I knew it wasn't the same thing because that was their first and technically the only. I don't know if they're ever going to bring that back, but I still wanted to be in the culture of the Essence Festival in New Orleans, and so it just so happened to work out that I was able to get both a speaking engagement, not on the stage, but off-site. I think that's what really made the trip, knowing that you don't have to be at the free convention center, which is where everybody's at, which is where they call it the big old family reunion, but you actually can be a part of and have your own events. Maybe for those who were looking at the headlines for 2023, they had canceled some people who were having like other, book signings and things going on. But I think they did a good job that trying to bring it to the convention center, bring the traffic, really through the Essence Fest. And so although this specific brunch panel that I spoke on, it was her fourth time doing it. So she never had any problem with it. And it never really competed anyway. It was still about woman empowerment, still about wearing white because Black people of color look good in white. Okay. So I spoke on a panel that Saturday, and it just so happened to work out that it was Saturday because one of my other goals that I have been really trying for the entire year 2024 is to see Usher perform live. Usher Raymond is my favorite male performer, and I saw him live in 2011, and I was glued to the TV at the Super Bowl watch party that I was at, and he's just my favorite performer to witness. So I'm so excited I get to witness him perform some of my favorite songs, the deep cut, the songs that most people don't know about from the Essence Fest. So, I had so much fun just singing out loud and having fun. And it was also fun because I was literally in the room with all the people that cross paths on my feed, on my social media feed, the people that I have chosen to follow. I was in the same space as them. Although I may not have gotten to meet them or take pictures with them or fully introduce myself, it was so amazing to just say, "Oh, look, it's so and so." Now, for me, I'm bad with names and faces until afterwards, right? I go back to social media. I'm like, "Oh, that was you. Oh, you were there. Oh, wow, I missed that." Right? So I'm one of those. But I didn't take it personally or anything because I feel like for me, it was just the right time at the right space because, I consider myself right now a micro influencer, and so being able to be amongst other micro influencers, amongst other content creators, amongst other just women of color. It was just amazing to be in the room. So I mean, of course, to answer that first question, should I go next year? Yes, you should. Especially for the part about just be in the room. You know, the convention center part is free. You just have to make sure you have an updated smartphone because your ticket is on an app. The only way to get in is on the app on the phone. To make sure you're at the convention center, and just take in the environment. Now, from the accessibility side, it was a bit much because, well, one, I had to make sure that I'm walking on the side where I don't bump into people on my right side because I can't see on my right eye. And then I also was making sure that I had my back to the way that there was not so much loud music so I can actually hear the panels. The downside is that they were like five maybe different DJ stages happening on one floor in the convention center. So there were different kinds of music playing in the background of some panel speaking. And I wish they didn't have to be that loud. It really didn't have to be that loud, but I can understand you're trying to keep the energy going because I truly believe that DJs make or break the Essence Fest. I remember during the concerts, technical glitches that we were trying to get videos ready for the next set, and it was like 5 minutes of just silence. And luckily, everybody was just talking to each other. Somebody else, a lot of people traveled with their boo, with their girls, with their families, so they had somebody to talk to. But I remember those moments of just, it was just nothing but chatter in the dome in the Superdome because they were trying to get technical glitches together. Um, what else? Now, I set intention on who I wanted to meet. That's what I feel is most important for navigating Essence Fest, especially because it's going into 31 years. And this when I saw some statistics out already from this year that it was about 500,000 people altogether. Saturday was the busiest. It was like pedestrian traffic, congested Los Angeles pedestrian style traffic. Um, so making sure that you know exactly who it is that you want to see, give yourself I tried to give myself 15 minutes before each panel was slated to start, but sometimes panels ended early and then I ended up missing the panel of who I really wanted to see. So make sure that you just stay glued to the digital street. I think that's what I had to do. A lot of people were complaining and understandably complaining about the fact that they didn't know so and so were going to be here or so and so were going to be promoting their movie or their music or their book. But I think the people who got the most traction was either the word of mouth that went out, or they utilized social media to tell people where they're going to be. It was so helpful to give booth numbers for vendors because they didn't update who was all going to be there until like probably that Friday or Saturday. They had TV screens that showed us who's going to be there, but not all of them had the booth numbers yet. So making sure that you follow those vendors that you wanted to either buy from or meet or get free samples from. The hair, the beauty section did a really good job of giving away samples because unfortunately a lot of people are going back for free samples. Now I didn't get any samples because I know that my life is about to change and I don't need to be acquiring more stuff. But for others, it's a great way to get a sample product of a brand you've never heard about, of a brand that you love, but you know you need more, but you don't want to, get a big old bottle that you're going to waste. Um, but from the marketing and branding perspective, I feel like we really got to start embracing digital media now. I actually saw a post about a vendor who in the red after that festival. Now I will admit that I feel like, if you're one of those brands who are like, I want to be on this, I want to be there, I want to be representing my brand, make sure you use these next 365 semi days to build your digital presence. Because I would also, I'm one of those. I'm manifesting it right now. I'm going to be on that stage. But it's because I'm going to take the time to do the work to continue to network, to follow up with the people that I did meet, to follow up with people that I tried to connect with beforehand, although we didn't meet. I get to, continue to build that relationship and build my digital brand online. I think what I noticed is, there was some brand that I wanted to see, but it was out of sight, out of mind because I didn't see them post about it ever again. The people who either I have a relationship with them already, so I knew they were going to be there. I sent them an email. They told me where they're going to be, what time and everything. So I was able to make it work and see them in person, give them a hug in person, talk to them in person, show my face in person. But if you are a brand that did not do the work beforehand to keep reminding people of where you're going to speak, where you're going to be over and over again, Um, I can understand how people can it can end up being a bad experience, or you end up financially losing than gaining relationship wise. So you definitely it's a creator's heaven, it's a branding marketing heaven, it's a music lover's heaven. Um, it's definitely now a heaven for those who for the diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now they're missing out on the A just a little bit. Now I will talk about that they did have sign language interpreters displayed for everybody on day one. Day two, I was looking for it. But day three, I had to see them. I chose the up high nosebleed seat on purpose because I knew that it's a dome, it's a inside center. No matter where I sit, I'm going to hear, I'm going to enjoy the music. Well, I chose to sit up high, and so I would look down and see the interpreters were down below. Now, I don't know if they opened that up for the virtual stream because they did open it up to stream it on their YouTube and on their website. But I remember walking up to the convention center to ask for like just kind of assistance. Like, is there anything that can assist me for captions or something that can get me priority seating in the front? But I really had to advocate for myself. But I'm grateful that on Saturday. There were sign language interpreters that were willing to let me sit. You know how they've reserved seats for those who are sign language. They let me sit when someone was not signing. Um, but they really got to work on making it more accessible for those who are hard of hearing. They did a good job for those who were deaf having sign language interpreters. They did a good job of having enough, motorized scooters and wheels for those who were not able to move as quickly or as well as they used to. But they just have a lot more to go with accessibility. And I feel like that can be my mission for the next 365 days. Another part of my mission for the next 365 days is I'm going to talk about the Essen Film Fest. So I like that they have that. I know it wasn't always there, but I appreciate the fact that they have that because I've never gone to the at least not yet, none of these South by Southwest film festivals or the Sundance Film Festival. So the fact that they had one, it was amazing. I forgot how amazing it is to be in the room with someone watching the film and everybody laughing at the same thing, crying at the same thing, being shocked at the same thing. So I was super excited to see exclusive premieres of movies that are not going to come out until fall or even the next year. One of my favorite ones is the Luther Vandross documentary. We all got to kind of get an exclusive look at that. And from the press release that I Googled, it's not even going to come out until 2025. So if you definitely want to be in the know about future TV shows and movies and documentaries, that's another reason why you should be at Essence Fest. And then I think I'll kind of take a pause or break to say that I'm super excited about it because I am also myself. I'm working on a documentary myself. I'm launching a documentary series because just alone from just speaking, the speaking engagement that I've been blessed to get for this year, the concerts I've been able to attend this year, and the events that I get to attend, there's still that gap in the accessibility world. Now, I understand on a political and broader scale, they're cutting down everything, but there's still some work that need to be done individually. And so I'm taking on that role to make it a docu-series, first to raise awareness about retinoblastoma, which is a childhood eye cancer that I have. It's also the same childhood eye cancer that Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes have. It's also the same eye cancer that Derek Fisher, NBA player's daughter, Tatum Fisher has. Yes, they're all women of color, but that's another aspect of the diversity, equity, inclusion that gets excluded. Black women need help too. We need accessibility and accommodations as well. So being able to document a day in the life of and interview them and shine a light, that's the goal of the docu-series. Um, but I want people to be involved as well. So I wanted to make it a crowdfunding campaign because I want you to be able to feel like you're listed on the credits, feel like you're listed on IMDb, um, and also just support, right? Be an ally. So if that is something that is interesting to you, definitely go to my website, zakirah.com/documentary, or search for Seeing Life from a Different Lens on Kickstarter. It's on Kickstarter right now until August 4th, Seeing Life from a Different Lens, or just search for my name. Or you can go to my website, zaakirah.com/documentary. ZAAKIRAHNAYYYAR.com/documentary to learn more, to donate, to share. And that's the part of a story that I feel need to be told. Okay, what else? So making sure that how to get there next time, if this is something you want to do. Um, build your personal brand. I think I'm just going to recap now that if this is something you want to do next time, but not just to attend for fun, not just make it a girls trip, but if you want to be there, like on the stages or something, it's the same goal I'm working at too. But here's what I've learned and what I need to do: continue to build my personal brand, because the people that were there, um, it's a little bit of both. They already have they've been on, if they're authors, for example, they've been on bestseller lists. If they are behind the scene content creators, they have a podcast that's out there. Um, if they were asked to moderate a panel, um, and they don't work for the company that's hosting it, which is Essence, um, they have a portfolio that's out there. They're accessible, right? Easy to reach, because apparently people have to be invited. You have to be invited, unless it's one of those off-topic and off-site events like the one that I attended. I paid to play. I had to get there and choose that opportunity myself, come out of pocket myself. So make sure that you're continuously building your personal brand, being consistent on social media, continuing tooting your own horn, continuing telling people where you are, especially if you're going to be a vendor, because there's so many bases there, and because there was not, at least this year, there was not an easy to look at map, at least readily available to know where the people are. Definitely make sure that you are using your social media through any realms of media to tell people how to find you. Um, and then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any other questions about Essence Fest, let me know. I'm happy to, help my Black woman get there, right? Because I do feel like that is definitely the next family reunion. And even for me, although I went solo, I got to connect or reconnect with people. I saw someone who I haven't seen since last year at another conference, right? So make sure that you are building your personal brand. And until then, I'm going to keep building accessibility. And I think that's all I can really say about it. Of course, if you have any other questions, you're welcome to DM me. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you again soon online, especially as I wrap up and prepare for the crowdfund of the documentary. Or if you want to learn more about my personal brand, everything's right there on my website, zaakirah.com, ZAAKIRAHNAYY.